UAE is once in a generation type of transformation which is going to make a lot of millionaires and billionaires in this market. We are actually talking about the country which attracted more than $45 billion as foreign direct investment in 2024. And the shocking fact is that it was 48% higher than the previous year.
When it comes to greenfield direct foreign investment, that new project being built from the ground up, and UAE ranked as a second, right behind the United States.
Government is issuing golden visas for attracting the investors. Government is actually looking into a lot of opportunities and flexibilities for opening up a business.
UAE accounted for 37% of the foreign direct investment across MENA region.
The UAE non-oil-based economy in 2024 actually hit up to $816 billion. UAE's real estate market is going to actually grow by 2.49% by 2029. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Today is going to be the most valuable session for you guys because I'm actually promising you that you are going to love it. If you really want to build your wealth, if you really want to build opportunities for your business, if you really want to build your dream business in UAE, so this is going to be the exact time which you are going to spend with us and learn a lot about UAE market. So this is Saqib Iqbal, and today's podcast is the UAE as business Goldmine. I'm with my experienced and skillful co-host Mr. Umar with me, my partner, my brother, and we are going to talk about the business opportunities in UAE. You know what? Yesterday I was literally just sitting with one of our clients and I was discussing what I'm going to actually discuss and with Umar today in this podcast. And literally, it was a jaw-dropping moment for us because when I told him that this is what I'm going to share with Umar today in this podcast, he was literally shocked because he told me that if he would have known all these facts and figures 5 years ago, he would have been more richer just because of these facts and information, and he could have built more wealth. This thing literally hit me really hard at that time when I was discussing this, that UAE is not actually going through some transformation. It's a once in a lifetime, once in a generation type of transformation which has been happening right now and which is going to make a lot of millionaires and billionaires in this market.
And I'm Muhammad Umar, your co-host for this exciting journey. Me and Mr. Saqib, we actually witnessed the excitement and the things happening with the business person in last 10 years. It is a fantastic journey. With the startups, it's a fantastic journey happening, and we witness that people are becoming from scratch to millionaire in that era. As well as we are forecasting a lot of good thing happening and which is actually in progress right now.
So today we are going to deep dive into a lot of information which honestly going to shock you. It will actually going to empower you. It will actually going to equip you with a lot of opportunities and also strategies to build new wealth for yourself. Now, we are not financial advisors, honestly, but the thing is that we are going to share the business opportunities. We are going to share the exact numbers and the opportunities within the market. We are actually talking about the country which attracted more than $45 billion as foreign direct investment in 2024. And the shocking fact is that it was 48% higher than the previous year. So we are going to talk about multiple different segments and sectors, including real estate, where literally the smart investors, they are earning more than 20% per annum through their smart investments, of course. We are going to talk about the business formation processes and some updates related to business formations, which is going to help you a lot when it comes to, like forming a business, the structural approaches of the business formation in UAE. But just remember, this podcast is not going to just give you some mere information. It is going to give you a lot more facts and figures and opportunities and strategies. This is why it differs from all other different types of podcasts within UAE.
But we are not stopping there. We are putting the human equation into the discussion as well, like job opportunities, professional developments, opportunities for the new upcoming investors, opportunities for the entrepreneurs, and all those subjects which everyone need to hear and which is the most interesting facts about this market.
So let me actually start with a story. I was literally just sitting with one of our very close client of our firm, and we were having very casual discussion about the foreign direct investment and the opportunities. And I just literally just pulled out my mobile phone and showed him on the screen that this is the fact that UAE attracted more than $45 billion of foreign direct investment in 2024. And he showed me a jaw-dropping type of surprise. Now, this showed that people sometimes do not understand they are not just within a country which is a non-oil based economy. It is not only actually generating their revenues through oil, they are actually focusing on multiple other segments, including real estate, healthcare, education sector, infrastructure, IT, technology, AI, so many different things. And people know that UAE is actually the 10th in attracting the foreign direct investment throughout the world in major countries.
Let me give you the context which making it more remarkable. The UAE ranked at 10th globally in direct foreign investment. Think about that. A country with a population of just more than 10 million people competing the economic giants around the globe like Germany, US, and all China and all the big economies, and they are competing it very well. In fact, when it comes to greenfield direct foreign investment, that new project being built from the ground up, and UAE ranked as a second on this one, right behind the United States.
This means that with every single day, all the international companies are literally just bringing not only their business to UAE, they are actually expanding, they are actually establishing their headquarters to UAE, and they are bringing a lot more, not only just the foreign direct investment, they are creating jobs for the local economy, they are actually bringing technology, they are bringing the opportunities for the local economy. The numbers actually tell us so much of incredible stories. So let me just break down it for everyone's interest. First thing is the government's strategic vision. It just not happened over the night. They just thought over the night that let's transform the country. So they have been building this whole economy throughout the generations, throughout the decades, by actually systematically implementing a complete vision, which is upbringing the new generation, which is upbringing the new economy. They have been investing into the local infrastructure. They have been investing into the legal structure of the economy. They have been investing into the technology and so many different factors. So take the example of a next generation FDI program. This is not just the, like a basic investment program or something like that. This is how a country is going to be transforming itself. Take the example of a next generation FDI program. It is not just attracting the local or small investors. Of course, government is aligning itself and reimagining the overall economy by adding up a lot more in the future. And this is going to be a lot better. Government is issuing golden visas for attracting the investors. Government is actually creating and upgrading legal framework. Government is actually looking into a lot of opportunities and flexibilities for opening up the business. So here, this actually gets more interesting, by the way. UAE's cumulative foreign direct investment stock reached more than $270 billion in 2024. And this has been actually growing with a compound annual growth of 10.5% since 2015. This is not just impressive, by the way. This is unprecedented.
Now let me share something which most people didn't realize. UAE accounted for 37% of the foreign direct investment across MENA region. It means if $100 flow into the MENA region, $37 out of that just came directly to UAE. That's not just market leadership, that market's dominance. And this is where economic partnership agreements come into play, including India, Malaysia, and now they are currently in negotiation with European Union. They are not just the trade agreements, they are economic integration frameworks that reduce tariffs, remove trade bottlenecks, and increase and boost investments in priority areas.
So the UAE non-oil based economy in 2024 actually hit up to $816 billion in 2024. And that was a record high, by the way, because it was more than 14% high compared to the previous year. And the country is literally just targeting more than 4 trillion dirhams by 2031. And this is based on the trajectories and the growth targets set by the government. And I'm telling you, it is not just going to hit, it is going to exceed. The most interesting fact is that these numbers are not only about the multinational companies or the large investors or the high net worth individuals. It actually includes the major portion of SMEs, which is actually becoming the backbone of this country and attracting literally just billions of dollars of foreign direct investment. Another important fact about UAE is that UAE was ranked #1 in the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. And this is actually fourth time in a row. This is not just based on the, a special thing. It has been based on the complete ecosystem which has been built by the government. And UAE government is focusing on building these kind of ecosystems to attract the foreign direct investments. And of course, so many different startups, which are not only just tech startups and non-tech startups also. So these are actually helping the economy to grow.
Mr. Saqib, these numbers are absolutely staggering. Let's a deep dive into that one. We are talking about 37% of the whole foreign investment which moves towards the MENA region. 37% belongs to UAE, which actually UAE gets. How does we can compare it with the other global business hubs? Are you looking towards UAE gonna be the next Singapore or any like the biggest business hub or the financial hub for the world?
Well, Umar, honestly, that's the right comparison I'm telling you, because a lot has been happening around us. And as you mentioned, Singapore. Singaporean economy not just built over the days or over the small period. It took them literally decades to become a South Asian gateway. And when it comes to China, for example, let's look at the Hong Kong economy. Even that has been built as a bridge between the China and the rest of the world. Similar situation is actually happening within UAE, because UAE is actually doing something really ambitious this time. And this is trying to build a hub, a bridge between south, east, north, west, everything and everywhere on every side. By not only just becoming a financial hub, it is actually trying to become the center for the trade. Another important thing, why UAE is being actually staged as number one, literally when it comes to the different economies. There's political stability, there is economic stability, there is security, there is safety, there is infrastructure. All of these things, if you combine, that makes UAE the best around the world. As we are going to actually talk about tax policies and the updates about the tax policies within the UAE, can you give some very brief answer at the moment to our listeners about what are the updates about the corporate tax in UAE?
It's quite simple and very straightforward, like 9% on your net profits, on your taxable net profits, and up to the profit of 375,000, it's always been zero. What is over and above, it will be charged at 9%.
But that's pretty much simple, right?
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
And the good thing is, honestly, because it's literally compared to any other part of the world, so it's lowest.
Yes, right? 9% is the lowest one.
So let's talk about something which has been actually making people millionaire and billionaire in UAE. I would actually say that is real estate, right?
Yes, this is one of the section.
Yeah. So talking about the fact about this market, when it comes to the real estate, it actually is making people really quick rich. Not just by having the ROIs starting from literally somewhere between 10% and going up to like 20% based on type of investment and type of properties around UAE. Let me put some facts in front of all our listeners, and this will actually literally shock you. Property prices within 2024 has been increased by 20% in 2024 compared to the previous year. And this is literally just really, really unprecedented. And the fact about this growth is that this is not just a bubble, by the way. This is the sustainable growth which has been happening within the real estate market of UAE, and it is actually supporting the local economy. The number of transactions are increased by 23% as of March 2025, if we compare it with the previous years and previous periods, while the transaction values are increased by 29%. And literally, these are not just the numbers on the spreadsheets. These are the numbers which is based on the real investors, real people, real businessmen, and real families which are literally just moving to UAE. Let me, based on the numbers, based on the facts, UAE's real estate market is going to actually grow by 2.49% by 2029. It is going to be the projected number on annual basis. And it is going to reach up to $0.76 trillion by 2029.
No, another interesting fact that Abu Dhabi real estate market is growing by 8% in the same time. As far as we see, Dubai real estate market is dramatically increased. Now Abu Dhabi market is, we're also experiencing the same in Abu Dhabi market. It means it's not just one Emirates, it's across the UAE.
Another important fact, of course, when it comes to talking about the real estate market. So of course, UAE government has been inputting a lot of effort, when it comes to having the consistent policies. And of course, giving 100% foreign direct ownership to all the international investors by giving them the freehold properties. But when we actually like look at the general policies, so it actually has to be linked with the people actually staying long term within the country. And this is what we have seen, especially right after the COVID, the post-COVID, when UAE government actually started giving and linking, like a long-term visas, like golden visas, as you mentioned before, with the property investment, of course. People are taking advantage of off-plan properties, of course, where they are literally just, like taking advantage of investing in through the installments. And like this is also attracting a lot of investors when it comes to like developers selling their properties and giving them the capital appreciation over the period of like 3 or 4 years. I know there have been a lot of talks about a high number of properties are going to be handed over in 2026, 2027, and so many different things. But you cannot just like start talking about these facts without actually putting them in a perspective. That how many people are going to be moving into UAE, how the market is actually expanding. So you need to have that kind of perspective by just like not saying that okay, these number of properties are going to be handed over, there's going to be oversupply or there's going to be less demand. No, it is not going to be like that, of course. So let's look at the numbers now. The pre-sale, of course, when it comes to like the year starting from year 2022, 2023, like going and increasing up to 2025. The numbers have been increasing when it comes to the off-plan sales. And I'm sure you, because you were actually mentioning one of our clients where like they kind of invested in a Dubai Marina properties, probably like 2.2 million dirham.
Exactly.
And now it has been increased by like approximately 20 to 25%, right? And still he's not willing to sell.
No.
These kind of facts are there, of course. But these are not just the random numbers we are talking about, of course. These returns, literally, really exciting. I clearly understand. And you are always really interested in talking about the real estate. I know that. I would actually ask you a very straightforward question for our listeners, of course. Do you really think that this 20% annual growth is going to be sustained over the period of next 5 years or 10 years?
That's exactly the right question. But listen, this is actually differentiate between a smart investor and a speculator. Let us be transparent on the risk side, because as far as you assess the risk, it is easy to manage the risk, it's easy to mitigate it. First, the market volatility. UAE real estate market is quite stronger now as compared to previously. Yes, the market correction have been happened in previous year. If we look into 2009 to 2008, 2009. And then if we have an idea, if we look into the previous correction of the markets, like
even in 2024 and 2015.
Yeah,
sorry,
2014 and 15.
2014 and 15. Yeah.
But after this one, a lot of good things have been happened. A lot of corrective measures have been happened. A lot of legislation have been in place, securing the investors and all those things. RERA have done a fantastic job on that one. So there is a lot of factors which need to be considered while we're looking how sustainable this market is for now. But important factor, as an investor, you also have to have well aware of the shifting of the things, new legislation, a new upcoming thing. So you have to secure yourself according to that, because government is providing you all the relevant information very openly, and government is securing the investor. DLD is passing all their laws very efficiently, and they're displaying it on their portals, and it is very open for everyone. So as an investor, you have to be a little bit careful while you're doing the investor. The project is already with the escrow account, the off plan. I'm talking specifically about the off plan. So there is a lot of things which you can read as an investor, and you can secure yourself. So Mr. Saqib, what are the financing option if someone looking towards a mortgage financing and all those things? As far as for local investor and international investor, is there some option with the financial institutions over here?
Absolutely. And when it comes to the financing options, so UAE banks are pretty much very aggressive in supporting the mortgage market. Banks can actually finance and fund up to like 75%, or even in some cases up to 80% of the total property value by giving you the mortgage. And the best part is basically the interest rates, and they actually are somewhere between like 3% and can vary between 3% to 6% annually. And that is something really interesting, because that people can compensate by paying these interests compared to the market appreciation and the capital appreciation of the property, and still enjoying living in their own property, in their own home, under their own roof. These things actually created like complete mechanism within last 10 years to increase the property value, increase the property owners within the market.
So Mr. Saqib, can you rephrase for the listeners about the international investors? How can they get benefit of?
So, for example, if a non-resident, let's assume, without having a visa inside UAE, he can also apply for a mortgage by looking into. So, he finalizes a property. He can actually go to a local UAE bank to ask them to mortgage based on their own income stream outside the UAE, where if they can provide, like the basic proof of their income, and they can actually get up to like 60% of the total property value being mortgaged. And that is something which is also attracting a lot of international investors when it comes to investing into the real estate market. Normally people actually do that, and they can actually put it on the, they've been doing this by putting it on the rental properties, Airbnb, and so many different things, by generating a lot of returns, of course, and compensating with the,
The installments and
well, yeah,
liabilities,
it depends on the type of property, which part of UAE you are investing in. So many different factors, of course, which you need to do the research properly. Without like research, nothing can actually happen. Well, let's get into the specific opportunities. Let's be very straight down. What do you think? What kind of opportunities are there into the market? Which is your area of interest when it comes to like investing into the real estate market in Dubai?
I believe this is specifically about your results, what you are looking for. Are you looking for as an higher ROI, or are you looking for capital appreciation? Those sort of areas with more of the tourists, they love to stay. In Ras Al Khaimah, if we look into the Marjan Island, this is one
that's
of the,
another interesting area, of course. Yeah.
other interesting area.
And by the way, just because of the like recent development in Abu Dhabi, the Disney World is coming
Yes,
in, and a lot
exactly.
of people are talking about that as well.
Yes,
And
yes.
people are now looking into the property investments around like the
Exactly,
Disney
exactly.
area, where now people are asking where it is going to be open. of course.
Exactly. They marked somehow, not the exact, but the people have some idea of that one
Where
it's
it is
gonna
of
be.
course.
But the thing is this: the properties around that one is catching the interest of the people. Even for the international investor, they are looking towards that one.
Absolutely.
So these are some important things which we need to look in. Let's say if someone want a long-term plan with a very good capital appreciation, then Dubai South is a very good option. That's going to be a very, very good option in future because of the airport, as well as if we look into the purple line, we are talking about metro lines or the blue line. So it's a project which is coming into reality very soon from the government side. So where the metro stations are coming in nearby those buildings, it's gonna be a hike definitely on capital appreciation. So there are different facts which need to be considered. What is your target and how you're looking towards that one? But there is a benefit for everyone, whatever you're thinking around. But it's just a smart move how you are acting and how you are managing with your investment.
I think even like when I was putting together all the facts yesterday, like preparing for the podcast today. So there was a very interesting fact about, for example, Dubai downtown. It has been actually maintaining between 6% to 8%, or in some cases almost like 15% of the property return or value by like every year. This is not just because of the value being generated by the property within Dubai. There are many other factors which actually support it. Property investment in Dubai downtown can actually work as a very like a tourist attraction because of the Burj Khalifa and the properties around the Burj Khalifa. And it's a center with Dubai Mall and so many different areas which are actually attracting the close like locality.
Exactly.
That works really well for the property investors. So not just the 6 to 8% or 10% of the annual value would be given to the investors, of course. Alongside, they are actually generating the capital appreciation.
Yeah. How can we forget about the downtown? It's one of the
Absolutely.
fantastic attraction.
Absolutely. But now there are many other areas within Dubai, of course, when it comes to like investing into properties. JVC had been a very like important segment when it comes to like investment in last 1 decade, if starting from 2015 onwards to 2025. The fact of the matter is not just one area. Everything has been expanding so quickly now. Furjan is another like upcoming area when it comes to like Dubai South side, then Imar properties, then Damac, then
Dubai
recently
Hills,
like Dubai Hills, of course. When it comes to like new developers coming in, of course, BT properties also one of them, of course, and you've been actually working a lot on that part as well recently. These things are actually creating a lot of buzz.
Now look at the Mohammed bin Rashid city, one of the most finest project, and one of the future perspective project with a lot of what you can say amenities and community living and all those facilities which a community have to be have. Quantum of that project with all sort of availabilities like for different sort of units. If you look into these sort of projects and early investors already got substantial capital appreciation on
that's
that
true.
one, and now they are enjoying that one as well moving forward, but still there are opportunities to invest into that one. So while we are looking into the investment perspective, these sort of things are very much important. It's one of the very very good developer, and they are proving it very well. Let me also mention here Dubai sustainability city. It's something which actually worth having. The lifestyle there, if people or the investor or the residents willing to pay the lifestyle over there, it is a really a
Absolutely.
good
No doubt about it,
opportunity.
yes.
Definitely the quality of life with the premium sort of prices, it attracts the premium customers as well. So you have to have niche, or you have to have make your own budgeting to look into that one, where they are premium properties, where they are premium living style, where they are like community lifestyle are there. So we have multiple options over here, and as far as we are looking into multiple option, interesting fact is this, that they are being sold very swiftly, very fast. So this fact is also be considered, that everything is getting sold, everything is like
That's true.
the investors are already there in the market. As far as one very important fact, investor, but the end user, we are now looking at a lot of end user, they are directly buying off plan as well as mortgage. So this is something which making the difference, and this is actually, let's link it with the again the sustainability, because why it's more sustainable now, because of the more and more end users are in the market now.
I think we need to actually talk about the type of properties and the type of investments as well, because there are variations, of course, when it comes to residential properties and commercial properties. Most of the times, people actually just kind of gets attracted with the residential properties or
Exactly.
investments, but they do not know that there is a huge gold mine actually available within the commercial properties of UAE. And this actually creates a different perspective for the investments, and that when it comes to investing into the property, they can actually look for the commercial properties with the actually staggering type of returns
Exactly,
that has been
exactly.
actually happening, because the value being generated, the properties on Sheikh Zayed Road, for especially for the commercial offices and all that, it's completely like a uncomparable.
Again, this is a demand and supply.
Correct.
Because the demand is getting higher and higher for the businesses. So that's why it's another thing which is now in demand, and it's also going very quickly, by the way. The units which you're talking about on the Sheikh Zayed Road, if we look into right now, hardly we got something on this area.
Correct.
So this is a really important fact, that as far as we are looking into the residential properties, commercial properties is also a very good
I think this is really important for the international investors to understand, and it took us like quite a while, like to even to learn about these things, even when it comes to us investing into these things or properties. First of all, the legitimacy, and the importance of what kind of developer you are actually investing into or with. This is really much important. Normally the developers are actually registered with through a very strict rules set by the Dubai government, especially RERA and like Dubai Land Department. So that actually gives them the strength when it comes to like becoming a developer. It's not that kind of easy task, of course. Then you have to look into the repute. So of course it's a market. Any type of developer can be there, of course, but there are always top tier developers or top 10 developers, top 5 developers, including Damac, Imar, like Shoba, and so many others, which we, it's a huge list, of course. But you want to actually just design your investment portfolio into real estate by looking into the type of developer you want to invest in, the money you have in your pocket, the type of risk you want to take, of course. All these things are actually based on that. Second important thing is the location analysis. If you want to go into Dubai South, what kind of developers are available over there? Of course, most of the developers are there. Now there is Dubai Maritime City, there is Dubai Island, there is like so many other areas which are now upcoming areas, and people are actually investing into those areas. I don't want to actually give you any sort of like area-wise specific. We are not giving any sort of advice. It's education. It's we're trying to educate the international investors. This is what we have been trying to do. Idea is that whenever you are trying to invest, you have to be there on ground to see what kind of opportunities could be there, what kind of developers are there. uh, every developer has its own repute, which they have kind of built over the period of 10 or 20 years by developing and delivering the projects. And you can actually look into their quality now, because there are a lot of exhibits available when it comes to their projects or previous projects. And now they are actually trying to maintain those properties. How well they have been maintained, that's another important aspect. How well they have been designed, how well they have been, kind of improved compared to the previous properties. So not just having like a picture of design where you're just going to be investing into it. Please, just kind of stop by, understand what kind of location you want to invest in, what kind of developer you want to invest. The third important area and aspect is you must actually seek help. This is important, from any local advisor. And the advisor also needs to be very credible when it comes to investing. Most of the real estate agencies here, which are top tier agencies or credible agencies, you can actually get yourself in touch with them, and you can try to get some information around that. So of course that will also help a lot when it comes to making a decision.
Definitely.
What do you think when it comes to international investors investing? How does they can actually manage their properties when they have their properties here? They cannot come, they cannot travel, they cannot actually manage. How would you think that, what is the best way to actually manage the property then?
Now these days it's become very easy. If we look into these things, a lot of companies, a lot of credible companies are in market who are giving you these sort of services, so to manage your properties, even for short-term rental or long-term rental. It's not a big deal to give your property to some credible agents, and they act on your behalf. On the other hand, if you are having the long-term contracts, annual, yearly contracts normally people do over here, so everything is very transparent under the government land department. It's on the portal, you can access there all the agreements. It should be issued from the government department, the DLD, and that's why it's that much transparent and that much straightforward that it can be handled from anywhere. But on the other hand, if you have a representative over here with a small percentage of fee, or with the small professional fee, so that can help a lot on that part. And now especially for the short term rental, there are a lot of companies are in market who are assisting you with that part. They manage your property, and they will give you the most of the portion of your rental, even through Airbnb or whatsoever. And they hold a small amount with them as a maintenance charges. So it's not very difficult for now. I think it's very open, and it's with a lot of opportunities. So it can be goes very quick if you have the properties, and it is very transparent.
Before we kind of move into the next segment, where we are going to actually talk about the company formation stuff, that how businesses can be moved to UAE, and what are the updates around that section. This is really important for everyone to listen, and especially our listeners who are actually into the business. So of course they are always keen to know about these things. So what we did, by the way, we kind of threw a poll to our audience, and that was really interesting actually. We asked what attracts you most to the UAE as a business destination, and honestly, the results were really fantastic. It's fascinating. 35% said the government support for business, 28% said the strategic location, and 22% said the tax advantages, of course, how it can be skipped, and 15% said the infrastructure and lifestyle. This really shows that how our listeners understand the overall comprehensive approach and advantages which UAE as a government, as a country, offers to the people.
Exactly.
Honestly, these results don't surprise me, right? Because when it comes to everyone, the sophisticated investors, they always actually prefer all these 5 or 6 facts, and this is why we actually kind of allocated these before asking the questions. Now let's put ourselves into another agenda. The business setup, everyone is talking about that. Hundreds of agents and agencies out there in the market. We also been doing this supporting our investors and business owners to bring them to UAE. We've been doing a lot of content creation around this for the last five years. We have seen things happening from like a very different angle and different type of businesses coming to UAE, what kind of opportunities, what kind of approvals, and so many different things. Now, let me just like give it a perspective. Let me put everything in a perspective. This is important for everyone to understand that what is happening right now. This is important that the company registrations in UAE that has been increased by 25% in 2024 compared to 2023. That means a lot of more investors and businesses are actually kind of moved in 2020. That's literally explosive expansion when it comes to opening up of the businesses in UAE. That is clearly driven by not only just the small businesses, that is clearly driven by the entrepreneurs, the IT and the tech startups, the investors and the established companies, by the way, not just the non-established or the new businesses. So they are expanding to UAE. People sometimes get a very different type of expression and impression when it comes to opening up a business, that why there are multiple authorities in UAE. I think it's a very good approach in a sense, because that actually creates the ecosystem and competitive advantage for like every authority targeting the same client, same customer, but giving them going extra mile, for giving them extra benefits, for giving them extra like support when it comes to the quality services. And UAE government specifically, and when it comes to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, or any other state, they have been actually like focusing on reducing the timeline and the time period to get the license. Literally, just if you're in Dubai and you're an investor, you can get your license in 15 minutes. That actually does not even give you any extra. So this is another important fact, because traditionally when it comes to opening up a business in any other country or like state outside UAE, when it comes to opening up a business, that involves in multiple sections and segments, getting the approvals, licenses, and so many different things, of course. When it comes to UAE, for example, Dubai is now trying to actually bring all the approvals under one segment. So most of the times you do not actually have to even go to any other department. So under one roof, for example, Dubai Economic Department, it is actually bringing those kind of things under one roof, which is creating a lot of like easiness for the investors to come and open up the business.
So how we can look into these 3-4 things, the complications, the compliances, the cost, and filtering the right place.
Well, it depends actually. There are multiple factors which the investors or the business owners need to understand. First of all is the business activity. They have to be very clear about the business activity, and especially when it comes to comparing the businesses between the mainland and free zone authority, and which free zone authority, because ultimately many free zone authorities are actually limited to some particular activities, and there are some which are not limited, of course. Then there are free zones which are designated or non-designated. So it entirely depends on the business activity or type of business you want to start. Now, the second important fact about all this, like thing which you need to focus upon is the number of visas, the quotas you require, or any other third-party approval. So, for example, real estate license requires the approval from RERA. Clinics and pharmaceutical companies, or all these kind of are related to Dubai Health Authority, Dubai Sports Ministry, Dubai Petroleum Ministry. So it depends. Not Petroleum Ministry. So all these third-party approvals are also part of the fact that you have to be there when it comes to understanding the rules and regulations of the local market. The third important thing is that when it comes to, you keep on adding the visas or quotas and so many different things, or the office space, that actually increases the value of the license sometimes. So you need to understand that how much you are going to pay. Some of the licenses which we have seen actually in the last couple of years, that investors are so much excited, they come in and they say that, oh, I'm going to actually add like 10 visas or 10 employees in my first year, but they end up actually just paying the cost of the license, but they do not add that. You need to work with the right person to actually just kind of predict, to project in the right way that how much you actually should be investing initially and then start it. Because what happens is a lot of people actually get into this thing by just thinking that, okay, I want to save 3,000 dirhams additional, which I will pay in the future if I have to amend the license, but I will not actually pay. But you end up paying actually maybe 10,000 additional because you're not using that license entirely. So these are the things and the facts you have to understand. You cannot just straight away compare UAE licenses with any other part of the world, because there are multiple factors you have to combine. So for example, the taxes which you pay here, which are very much low. In some cases, there are no taxes, like individual taxation is not there entirely. If you want to compare it with like United Kingdom, of course, you're not actually paying a lot of money for opening up a license over there. Pretty much
Exactly.
But what exactly you're paying? You're paying up to like 40% of the corporate taxes and so many other taxes in terms of from your income, whereas you're only paying 9% or up to 9% in case of UAE. If you compare it with the Singaporean economy, so Singapore you actually end up paying like $20,000 approximately for opening up a license in many cases. So in UAE, your starting license cost can be anywhere from like 6,000 dirhams and can go up to like 100,000 dirhams. But again, it depends what kind of authority and what kind of license you want to invest in. Let's be very quick when it comes to opening up the license. Let's talk about the guidance. Let's talk about the stages involved into the opening up the license in UAE. I think this is important for our listeners to understand. So we discussed what are the three stages. Let's talk about those three stages where they need to focus upon opening up the license.
The three stages: first is document and information sharing, as well as alongside with that one, filtering the right business activity, as you already said. The second stage is issuance of the license, applying and issuance of the license, and those things. And the third and the last stage where you need the visas and you have the employees on your license and you complete that process. So these are quick one, the three stages where you complete this whole process.
Absolutely. And another important aspect where people normally talk about the bank account. By the way, the bank account is not a difficult thing
It's
in UAE. If you have the right stuff on your side, right people on your side, right consultants on your side, so it's very quick. By the way,
it's very quick. Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to selection of business activity, if you want to be in business services, of course, management consulting. If you want to be into IT, so IT consulting. If you are into investment consulting, so investment consulting. So many business activities are there now just to be selected from a huge portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of documents have to be prepared? By the way, it's like always been they have kept it to minimal when it comes to getting the documents from the business sector. Depends on the business activity. If you want to go for DIFC, so of course you have to be prepared in a lot more compared to the normal business activity. As you mentioned before the start of our podcast, that you only pay 9%. So can you actually just brief it back so that our listeners can actually get the update on this?
So 9% is on net profits, the taxable net profits. This is one thing, and the first 375,000 UAE dirhams of the net profits is always been rated at 0%, so there is no tax on that one. Whatever is over and above that will be charged at 9%.
I think this is really important, but again, there are some of the facts which people need to understand, comparing the tax rates and regimes when it comes to by putting it into the general tax economy or the structure globally. So for example, all the business friendly jurisdiction, let's assume like Singapore, for example, the corporate tax rate is approximately 17%. Hong Kong is approximately 16.5%. Ireland, which has attracted significant international investments recently due to its tax policies, has almost like 12.5%. UAE is at 9%. But this is not just 9%. A lot of companies in the business activities which are actually based in free zone are getting the exemption completely getting exempted from the corporate tax based on the business activities if they actually fall into the qualifying free zone person category, right? There are multiple activities which have been given, or if you are actually doing business within free zone with other free zone companies, so that can also attract the exemption from the corporate tax. So that actually gives a lot of benefits. So for example, the business activity, if you are into distribution of goods and if you are into a designated zone and doing the distribution of goods, so you can actually get the complete benefit of 0%. So it's not just the 9%, of course, but there are many other benefits. Recently, there have been a lot of updates being given by the local government, Federal Tax Authority I'm talking about. So for example, the guides on the free zone authority, the guide on the qualifying free zone person, that is important step. And then there are many other facts which has to be written. Now,
yes, you're absolutely right. As far as you are meeting all the prerequisites for being a 0% or for being exempt from the tax. So if you are qualifying with all those prerequisites which are under the corporate tax law, so you can get entertained with that one.
Let me just put some facts here because everybody needs to understand what are the latest updates, of course, when it comes to. So there are key three areas, of course, 0%, 9%, and 15%. So when it comes to the 15% DMTT, that is the rate which has been applied now recently on the multinational or the major companies, of course. And that actually gives them there is a threshold being set for in terms of revenues, that is 750 million euros or the plus revenue. That means if any revenue having company or group having this much of revenue, so they can be subject to 15% of the corporate tax.
So we are talking about euros here.
750 million euros or
okay.
equivalent to that, of
Okay.
course. But then when it comes to the latest updates, when it comes to this, so there are recent updates about the unincorporated partnerships. So the government has given a lot of flexibility when it comes to the unincorporated partnerships. So what they have done is basically you can actually elect to actually pay taxes on the entity level, which means combining all the taxes instead of like paying individually by those partners which are there in the unincorporated partnership. So ultimately, this requires the approval from FTA. This is number one. If they does not approve, so you cannot actually file return like this or pay taxes like this. Alternatively, of course, there is always partner level taxes available, so you can actually just withdraw and you can disperse the profits, and then you can actually look into the profitability and then you can pay. But this actually gives the benefit to those people who are actually into this relationship. Now, DMTT implementation that I already mentioned, the 15%, of course. There is another one which is R&D incentive that is going to be up to like 30 to 50% approx. That is going to give a tax credit rate, but this is actually going to start from January 2026. So we will be actually talking about these things in the future also too, so that we can have more knowledge about that. High level of employment credit, that is something which has been added recently from 1st January 2025, especially for the C-suite executives and for the directors and principals, of course. International alignment, of course, and this is actually there have been some clarifications by the cabinet resolution number 35 in 2025. So these clarities have been there now in the market, and now government has been trying to bring all the more clarities and flexibilities. Now, what are the critical deadlines? This is important to understand. As you know that the government has given incentives for 10,000 dirhams of fines.
Yeah, to waive off.
To waive off, exactly.
So we are talking about tax returns now.
Tax returns now, exactly.
Okay.
So there have been now important aspects. So for example, if you want to go for the penalty waiver, especially if you were subject to 10,000 dirhams of fine because of the late corporate tax registration. So you can actually get that waived by actually submitting the return within 7 months period instead of 9 months period.
Okay.
That means, giving you the example, if your tax return period was 2024 and ending 2024, so you were supposed to file the return by 30th of September 2025. So instead of waiting for 9 months, if you can actually submit the return by end of July 2025, and then you can get the benefit of the waiver.
That's cool.
Or even if you have not registered so far and you were supposed to, so of course if you register you will be subject to the fine. So in this case, even if you register and file the return within the 7 months period, so you can also be you can get the waiver straight away. Now,
so do the registration now as well if you are not being done yet, and file your return before 31st July 2025, and you'll get waived up to 10,000. Okay.
So basically there are 4 different situations in this scenario. Number 1, someone who's actually been registered. Number 2, they have not paid their penalty. Number 3, they have filed the return in current date, for example, within 7 months period. So they will straight away get the waiver. Then the second scenario comes in, that is there if somebody is registered, but they have not paid the penalty. And they have not filed the return yet. So this is the second scenario. So in this case, if they file the return, so they will get the waiver. This is number, of course, 2. Number 3 situation is that they have registered, the penalty has already been paid, and the return is pending. So in this case, if they file the return, so they will actually get the refund. In that case, the money they paid. The fourth is basically if they have registered, the penalty is also paid, the return is filed. So of course, so far they must have been they must have got the refund. Let's shift our focus now entirely to a different segment where a lot of people come to us. We still have some time. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about for the benefit of the people. When it comes to people seeking jobs in UAE, this has been a lot of been discussed when it comes to people actually seeking career in UAE. Let's focus on the facts. This is important actually. The statistics that should get everyone's attention, by the way. UAE leads the entire region, which includes, of course, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Latin America, with a 35.2% growth in job openings, by the way. And nobody actually talks about this. That
really
how
good.
many jobs have been actually been created and opened for compared to all other economies which actually declare themselves as leading economies in the world.
Exactly.
And think about that literally just for a moment, that how people are actually getting jobs, how quickly they are actually getting jobs, and they're getting settled in this economy. Let's talk about, Umar, about the, like especially for the interest of our listeners, if there are people who are actually looking for jobs in UAE, what are the important aspects they need to actually focus on when they are actually come to UAE for seeking job? What do you think?
I think the professionals are technical people who are seeking for the job and want to move to UAE. They have to first, I suggest them, while you're jumping over here, you try to understand the norms of this economy. What are the legal requirements? How you are going to present yourself. Your presentation is matters a lot. Even for us, we got a lot of resumes. We got a lot of, while we jumped into the interview, the person himself or herself is a very good candidate, but the presentation is not very good. So the presentation matters a lot. You have to present in the right way. And please try to, the suggestion is whenever you are jumping, whenever you're trying to be a part of this fantastic economy, this fantastic industry, so make your research a little bit about that particular job, how the work is going to be happen over here, how the things are moving on over here. So these all aspects are very, very important.
Someone is looking for a job in UAE in 2026 or 2025. The first thing is, of course, going to be the impression of their resume or CV.
Exactly.
Right. This is important. They have to be very much, they are very much important.
Presentable
and everything.
Exactly.
The second important thing is the word you use, the presentation, of course. Everyone has to be presented in a way they actually,
should be according to their career
and all that, of course. Now, the third important thing is when it comes to finding a job, because there's a whole lot of process involved into it, and coming from a background of education and working with the people on their careers. What I personally believe, that luck is actually on your side if you work really hard and you plan really well.
Absolutely.
Try to actually, finding a job is a full-time job.
Exactly.
And this people do not understand.
Yeah.
They only work literally just for 1 hour or 2 hours a day, and they feel like they are going to find a job, according to their requirement. It is not going to happen. You have to be on your toes all the time when you actually land to UAE, or you're trying to find a job. So there are prerequisites. Number one, prepare a proper CV. Number two, have the right dressing and presentation and everything. Of course, you have to be prepared for that. Number three, you have to have a list of companies, which is very much easy. You can go on LinkedIn, you can actually prepare that. I've seen people being approached by major companies just because they are actually very active on LinkedIn, and they actually believe that this candidate can become a right fit for their organization and for their position. So this is really important. So you have to be active on the online platforms. You have to be really active when it is trying to submit the resumes and CVs. And when you come to UAE, so try to think that you are actually already on job. Sit on your seat from starting from 9 a.m. and be there till 5 p.m. and keep on searching, talking, discussing. This is one. Fourth is, of course, your network.
Exactly.
This is really important, right? Your friends and family and people or professionals you worked with before in your career. So please try to approach them. Any opportunity can be there. You can land any opportunity from those circles. I've seen actually just people casually sitting next to each other, and it's like, I have a job for you. Why can't actually just share your resume to me, and I'll try to find something for you.
I totally agree.
And this actually helps a lot. So these things you need to understand that you have to work really hard. And of course, if someone really actually need any support or help, follow us.
Job portals, and I believe even the major companies are giving the option of the career on their own portals, on their websites, that also can help in this part.
Let me focus on one story. One Indian IT guy, I met 2 years ago, and I've seen actually, and he was actually mentioning this to me, and it was kind of inspiring. He was on a mid-level position back in India. He moved to Dubai by quitting his position over there, and within few months, not of course days, couple of months it took him to actually find a reasonable job. initially, like he thought that okay, he's not a good fit for this position and all that. But the good thing about that guy was because he actually focused on learning the local market experience, gaining the local market experience,
Exactly.
skills, and all that kind of things. Within 2 years, you can't even imagine that how quickly and swiftly he grew within his career. From a very basic position which he started in UAE, he actually moved to another really important position within 2 to 3 years, and now look, you can't even imagine that how many percentile he actually kind of got the increment when it comes to increasing getting the salary being increased in his next position.
That's
Now
great.
the most important, another important fact is the network. UAE and Dubai especially has become a hub of networking. People come to UAE to Dubai to meet people. They come
Exactly.
to Dubai to
You're
meet
right,
the
you're right.
investors. They come to Dubai to meet new faces, to make new connections. So every hub is there. People have the like regular weekly events. So these events are important, and people need to actually focus on these events. And I've seen, for example, in there are communities: Pakistani, Indian, Sri Lankan, Bangladeshi. So many different communities are there, even European, British,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they actually create those like kind of groups where they
Events and all those
literally
things.
help by like arranging the events for the job seekers, to giving them the knowledge experience. So you just have to
Opportunities
just
even.
do some research, and you can
Exactly.
be in touch with those groups, and you can actually get some very quick help in terms of getting your CV fixed, in terms of getting your presentation improved, and all those things.